way. But some games don't even have that at all. So we say that the movement from this position over this ground to this position is essentially the same no matter what. And again, we say, okay, in reality there are lots of differences, but we abstract those out and say, well, this is a good approximation for many different kinds of units over many different kinds of particular ground. Then the transition, again, from moving all the way to firing, again, we abstract it out and say, well, a quote-unquote better unit is going to have a quote-unquote better, fire factor or something. Again, that's a way. But what I want is I want these things not abstracted. Forget abstraction. I can't stand abstraction, frankly. I'm getting to the point where I can't stand abstraction, actually. I consider it a necessary something unfortunate if necessary. I want those things brought out. So one unit marches up here and is, especially if you have kind of disorganization, that is not heavy disorganization. There's heavy disorganization. There are different kinds of disorganization, different ways of looking at disorganization. One unit moves up here and is kind of fumbling about and has lost its, let's say, its cohesion. And then this is not like, oh, now it can't fire. That's the type of abstraction I want. No, it can still fire, but it's not. It's transition. See, this is where, this is covered by quote unquote movement and fire. But again, I don't want, see, if I say it's covered by movement and fire, it's being related back to the basic game design blocks of move, fire, or attack. I don't want that. I want to show. Here's one example of what I'm talking about take out the abstraction and bring out in this case, transitions. But I'm talking about transitions. But I want this to be done for every single element or factor of the design that can be identified and isolated. So this is what I mean. What I mean is, when the unit goes from stationary to moving, it pays some cost. It doesn't matter whether you call it a movement point or an action point or what, but it actually costs something to start moving. Again, it's not factored in, and the better unit would pay less of a cost. You're paying to start moving. You're paying to move, obviously. We've always had that. You're paying, you're not paying to stop. You can stop, but you are paying, if you want to look at it as you're going to stop, you're going to give commands, soldiers are going to move, they're going to get in position, they're going to transition to get ready to fire. You're going to pay for that. And then, of course, you're going to pay to fire. If all of that, why can't all of that be done in a universal, quote unquote, operations phase? I wonder. I think this is a fairly basic example of what I'm talking about, but I'm talking about going on, right? So I'm saying that, right? So if you want to rush up here and fire, that is totally different than choosing to take your time to move up here and fire. They are different. They mean different things for enemy reaction. I haven't even talked about enemy reaction here, but it means different things for enemy reaction, and it means different things for outcomes. And this is, I think, what the designer of Rebel Yell was trying to get after. And I don't mind. I'm pleased with the approach he's taken. But again, there are other ways of looking at this and doing this. I will leave it at that. I just got to some of that. Some of what I was thinking about originally about the preferences and and not the other thing. I guess one more point, and I'll leave, and that is going the direction of actual runners, dispatchers, etc., etc. Because you could do some different things with that that just isn't the same when you abstract it. Anyways.